Welcome each and every one of you. You are actually at our Global Chamber Author Series, and this is the first of 2025. My name is Dr. Dana Austin. I am the director for the Global Chamber Author Series and executive director for Global Chamber Atlanta. So we want to send you a warm welcome, despite the snow that we had last week, warm welcome with our hospitality. And I'd like to share with you a little bit about Global Chamber before we introduce our incredible speaker. Global Chamber is the first and only of its kind global chamber around the world in 525 metros and growing. That means we have a footprint in 525 metros and growing. And so if you are living in UK, as we have Maya on, or Portland, Oregon, or Salt Lake City, or North Carolina, or Phoenix, or LA, Atlanta, Alabama, wherever you're hailing from on the call today, we welcome you. And you are able to make connections in the form of business globally as easy as it is done locally. That's what we pride ourselves on. And we also pride ourselves on showing up to make business connections with integrity, to help our members get a return on their investment, to make connections that are meaningful, and so much more. And we do that by welcoming and including all that are interested. So with that said, our headquarters for Global Chamber is actually in Phoenix, Arizona, and it is located at the Thunderbird School of Business. So we have some people that are on that are graduates from there or even attendees. Welcome. What I'd like to ask of you is to put your name, your city, and even a link because we want to make a connection here. And with our Global Chamber Author Series, this was actually launched 3 years ago by one of our members who's been one of the longest members in Global Chamber, Gloria Peterson. And she's traveling today, otherwise she'd be on with us. And she started the Global Chamber Author Series really to help engage authors and those who are aspiring for the same. And that has helped us to realize we had quite a bit, over 100 authors in the Global Chamber and growing. Some are on the line, and if you're interested in writing a book, if you're interested in partnering with Global Chamber, this is where you make that connection. I also like to remind you what our purpose and goal with the Global Chamber Author Series, and that is to engage. So if you're here, we want you to engage. We want you to ask questions. We want you to share in the chat. And certainly we have one of the best and baddest persons in the LinkedIn world on with us. And she's going to tell us, hey, as authors, this is how you really can maximize utilizing LinkedIn, one of the platforms, which is phenomenal for entrepreneurs, business owners, organizations. So keep that in mind. And with that said, I would like to introduce our phenomenal speaker of the hour. Angela Dunn, I'm going to read her bio, but I can speak from the heart, which I think is usually comes across really well, but I cannot let you not let you know how incredible she is. She's a Bay Area business owner with an MBA and a master's in curriculum design. She has worked and taught from Siberia, Moscow, Mexico, and Lima, Peru. So she's definitely global in every aspect. And as a business development LinkedIn consultant, she works with attorneys, CPAs, wealth managers on their digital presence to help grow their businesses and expand opportunities. She focuses on creating thought leaders on LinkedIn. So you guys are in the right place. And she is a frequent public and keynote speaker around the Bay Area and beyond. And Angela is not new to Global Chamber. She spoke to our tribe, our global tribe, a little over a year ago. And what she shared with us really helped us to make our presence known in the LinkedIn space. She shared tips that really transformed how I even show up and several of our Global Chamber members. She's originally from Wisconsin. And yes, she's a dairy farmer's daughter and a diehard Packers fan. And we can't hold that against her, but I do like the cheese curd. She is also a former all-around cowgirl. Yay, Angela. She likes rock climbing. She's a rock climbing guide, and she's currently an author with several books ready to be published soon. So her books will be forthcoming, and whatever we can do, or I can even do to help move that forward as a writer's coach, we're going to do that. She's in Marin, and she enjoys hiking, kayaking, oysters, local wine and cheese. I knew cheese was going to be in there. And she's currently a leader in a program that I'd like for you to tell the group about, and then also how they can reach you. You just put that in the chat, and then we'll let you have at it, Angela.
Thank you so much, Dr. Dana. That was amazing.
Thank you, my dear.
So I have a couple of questions for you guys, and I think that authors have been a little bit shy about LinkedIn. And part of the reason I think for that, you guys can tell me if I'm wrong, but I think it's because you don't know how to use LinkedIn. Once you learn how to use LinkedIn as an author or a thought leader or whatever your reason is for writing a book, it really becomes easy. LinkedIn is very intimidating. But it's if you really keep your blinders on and don't listen to what everybody says out there about LinkedIn, and you really stick to your guns and do things in a tasteful way, it's not that hard. It's hard to get yourself to execute things sometimes. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and dive right into the PowerPoint presentation. And please tell me that you're seeing my slides and in the large format.
Okay.
Yes.
We are, yes.
Awesome. Thank you. So, why did you write your book? And I want you to really think about this. A lot of people, I mean, we just can't help ourselves, right? We're authors. It just comes bubbling out. We have to write it. We can't not write it. But I really want you to think in retrospect, what is your reason for writing your book? Are you trying to establish yourself as a thought leader? Are you trying to build your business? Are you working to inspire change in the world or in your local community? Do you have an important story to tell? Is it for fame and fortune? Because we know that you don't get rich as an author. Are you trying to preserve a legacy? Are you sharing your knowledge and expertise? What is the reason you wrote your book? Because this will have a great deal to do with how you use LinkedIn and other social media to share what you've written. And don't you dare hide your light under a basket. You wrote that book for a reason, and the rest of us need to know about it. You never know who is going to benefit from your book. So get it out there. So, who is your target audience? Who is the person that is absolutely perfect for reading your book and for absorbing the knowledge and the insight and the expertise that you have to share? Where do they hang out? And I'm talking mostly about social media and what is important to them, because I'm going to tell you that these days we've become very savvy about social media. And most of the social media out there is very generic. We want something that has some values and some actual chunkiness to it rather than generic content. So really think about what is important to your reader. What are their values? How can you use that as a way to get their attention? So thank you, Dr. Dana, so much, and the Global Chamber for inviting me to speak this morning. This is super exciting for me. So, what does a good author profile look like on LinkedIn? And we're going to start with what is called the above the fold view. So, this is the very first thing that someone sees when they look at your profile. And I'm going to tell you, we are super judgy about social media. We can find something wrong with somebody's profile in a nanosecond, but we never turn that critical eye onto our own profiles. So I really want you to think about the way you look at other people's profiles and then go and take a look at your own after today or during this presentation. So this is Ann Tardy. She is a mentor leader. So she's got some beautiful branding, both with color and with logo. She repeats her logo right here. So she actually has a business page and an author page on LinkedIn. She has all of her credibility right behind her name, all of her certifications, and she tells you who she is in her headline. She helps hospitals tackle their retention and leadership challenges with customized strategic mentoring strategies. And her book is a business book. And these days, if you've written a business book, it's more like a business card. Business cards have kind of fallen by the wayside since the pandemic, but books are a great way to open doors. So let's look at another one. This is my friend Eric Ehrenstoff, and he puts a photo of his book right onto his banner on LinkedIn. So he has his branding here. He's got a picture of him speaking as a keynote speaker. So he's really establishing his credibility with his banner. And you're going to recognize him because you're going to see him in several different places on his profile. He has a pretty long headline, but he includes the word author. Now, I'll tell you why this is so important. If you want to come up in searches as an author on LinkedIn, you want to get that word into your headline. The other benefit is, it's still only about 3 to 5% of the population that has written a book. You don't know how special you are and how much other people admire that word author in your headline. It is an instant credibility builder. You've done something that more than 90% of the population has not done. So be loud and proud about this author. Get it into your headline. And here's my friend Joanne Black. She has 2 books. Actually, she has 3. This needs to be updated. But she has photos so that you can recognize what they look like if you're going on to Amazon or other places to purchase her book. She has her logo in a couple different places so that you can establish brand recognition. And she has the word author right on her banner so that you know that she is both a speaker and an author. You don't have to question that. You don't have to look any further. You know that if you're looking for a keynote speaker, or if you see the word author, that she is somebody that has some credentials behind her. And let's look at one more. So Daniela has a lot going on in her banner, and I'm not exactly sure what all of this means, but the colors match her logo. So there is definitely some logo recognition. And she says also in her headline that she is an author and a speaker, and she names some of her topic areas in her headline as well, so that you don't have to search through her entire profile to find out, well, what does she write? So you want to be very clear. I'm going to tell you the sexiest thing on LinkedIn and in the world right now is clarity. Don't make me work so hard to figure out what you're the author of and what your area of expertise is. So, and here is just a super simple post that is promoting a book on LinkedIn. And you really want to keep it as simple as possible, but having that cover of your book be recognizable is so important. We're really lazy readers these days, and so the visuals are extremely important. So when you're designing that book cover, really think about something that is easy to read, even when it's this small in a post on LinkedIn. So above the fold best practices for authors is you really want to think about some personal branding. There are lots of authors out there. I'm in California, and in Marin County, the joke is that if you meet 10 people, half of them are authors. There are so many authors in this part of California. So you need to stand out. Do some personal branding. And this is really important because it is an opportunity for you to show off your authenticity. And authenticity is what builds trust. It is definitely something that drives book sales and recognition of what you've done and credibility. Name your audience. Make it very clear. This book is for. Ask some questions. If they say yes to any of those questions, they'll know that it's for them. Use the photo of the book wherever you can, in your banner, in the featured section, when you're doing posts into the news feed. Use the word author in your headline and several other places in your profile. What is the purpose of the book? Really talk about it. Or what is your why? Everybody loves to hear the backstory. Why did you write the book? How did it come about? Those are the really interesting things for those of us who haven't written any books or are thinking about writing books. And then put the link to buy your book in your contact information on LinkedIn. So, what is the first thing that you're going to do? And I'm going to stop for a second because that's a lot of information. And I'd like you either to take yourself off mute and just blurt out what is the first thing you're going to do to spiff up your LinkedIn profile now that you're an author, or drop it into the chat. Let's have a little bit of a conversation. Anybody? Drop it into the chat.
While
Dr.
while they're dropping in the chat, I will just share a few comments that Jackie was most appreciative of the diversity of the LinkedIn pages that you shared. And now there's some comments there.
Well, and I'm going to tell you honestly, there's a lot of authors that have not taken advantage of LinkedIn yet. So it's really hard to find a good author profile on LinkedIn. Do you know what kind of opportunity that presents to you? If you do the very basics and get a really good above the fold view, you're going to start to get recognition as an author, as a credible source, or as just a wonderful writer if you're into fantasy or whatever the genre is of books that you write. And it really doesn't matter what the genre is. You should have a LinkedIn profile that's very loud and proud of what you do. Now, if the book is to build your business or establish thought leadership, if you're not on LinkedIn, you are really hurting your credibility. I just looked for, while I was putting together this presentation last night, I looked for a couple of my favorite authors on LinkedIn, and I'm horrified to say that they're not on LinkedIn. I was like, what? These big names, these national people, and they're not on LinkedIn. They're missing just a huge opportunity to promote their book and to get keynote speaking engagements and things like that, if that's what they're looking for. So anybody have any questions so far on what you've seen?
This is Jackie Duncan. I have a question. Is it best practice to create a separate LinkedIn other than, let's say, your professional page?
Great question. And I'm super glad that you asked that question. LinkedIn hires interns over the summer every year to get rid of duplicate profiles. So you're only allowed, it says you sign something, it says in your user agreement that you will only have one profile. So what you want to do with your book is to have an actual company page for that book. Now, I worked for an attorney that works in collaborative law in the New York area. She has 17 books on how to pull your finances together after a divorce. And she really focuses on women and women of a certain age, especially who may not have had a lot of experience with taking care of the family finances. So I made a company page for every single one of those books with a link to where they could purchase them. And some of them are workbooks. Now, what that did for her visibility on LinkedIn is unbelievable. I mean, we all kind of know it's a sort of a joke. You're not going to get rich from book sales. Well, her book sales started to go off the chart because there's something that's practical and there's an awful lot of fear about finances. It's easier for you to buy a book and try to get yourself up to speed and empowered rather than to talk to somebody and let them understand how much you don't know about finances. So buying a book is a lot easier than embarrassing yourself in front of another professional. And her book sales are ridiculously great. she had to go to a different publisher that could handle the volume. And some of them she actually went ahead and just self-published so that they're on demand. So lots of different things to consider about that. But especially if it's thought leadership or a business book, or it's something about coaching and any of that sort of thing, you belong on LinkedIn. But every single strategy is going to be a little bit different about what you share and who your audience is and how you present that book. So I'm going to dive back into the PowerPoint presentation and share some more goodies with you guys. So what is the sexiest part of writing a book? We've all been in the trenches. We've been there when nothing happens. The sexiest part of a book to those of us who want to buy your book is the backstory. There is nothing more intriguing than the why, the how, the challenges, the what happens with some of the characters. You know, if you're a Game of Thrones fan, he said that the hardest character for him to write was Jaime because he kept on changing all the time. He wanted to make him bad, but ended up trying to make him good. So there are so many interesting stories. And I'll tell you, it's all of that that really creates some intrigue and curiosity and interest in your book. So really think about what that backstory is. To you, it may not seem very interesting, but to the rest of us, it's fascinating. We love to hear that. Peel back the curtain and let us know that internal thing that happened with you while you were writing the book or afterwards, or the insights from reading a book and the comments that people give you. So share that, because whether it makes people cry or makes them laugh, it makes them feel something. And that's what we all want these days, is we want to feel something. So you have to really dig deep to share the good information from your book that's really going to create some interest. So what are some great things for you to share onto LinkedIn? Updates about the book, cover art, challenges that you've had, even with your publisher. What are the challenges with writing, getting it published? Anything that was a challenge to you during the course of the whole process, milestones along the way while you're writing the book, or when you reach a certain number of book sales, things like that. Character twists, plot twists while you were writing it. Surprises that happen along the way, dilemmas that and stalls that you reach in different. Did you have a block? Everybody wants to. If you're going to be honest, everybody knows that you had a block someplace. So tell us how you got through it. We always want to hear about a hero and somebody that survived and endured and was successful. Are you in a writer's group? Are there some stories you can tell about that whole process? These are all great things to share on LinkedIn, and your audience will eat it up. Your job as a writer when you're promoting the book is to entertain us, to tease us. Don't tell us the whole story, just tease us a little bit, to inspire us, to peel back that curtain and let us understand what your process was, to be vulnerable, to be human, and to create mystery around that book. So let's get tactical. Where are the places that you really want to pay attention to on LinkedIn as an author? And we're talking about your profile here. So your banner is definitely your greatest opportunity, a visual opportunity for you to show off your book and tell people what it's all about. In your headline, for sure. In your contact information, you can put a link to the website for the or a web page or a landing page, wherever that book exists, and a link to buy it, wherever you want them to buy it from. Use the clickable link at the top of the profile and use that for book sales or for people to get in touch with you and talk about it or hire you as a keynote speaker. Your featured section is a fantastic place for you to put updates and things that you've posted on LinkedIn. The About section is where you tell the story of how that book came into existence. Your work experience. Most people who are authors have not even bothered to add author as their work experience. definitely do that. That gives you the credibility to be invited to speak at different places. And as I said, company pages and one for each book is definitely what I recommend, because each book has a different audience, a different purpose, a different life. And then make sure that you're using the keywords that are appropriate for each of your books and optimize those company pages and your own profile. Now, recommendations, things that people are saying about your book should go on LinkedIn as well. Don't let us take it just from you. Give us some of the backstory on the people whose lives were changed or hearts were touched because of your book. Long and short form posts into the newsfeed on LinkedIn, and definitely video. Share video. That is the hottest thing on LinkedIn and the easiest way to ensure that you're going to create a connection to your audience. Now, why video? Because it's your face, it's your authenticity right in front of somebody. Video is the fastest way to know, like, and trust, and to create some interest around something. Share things in groups. There have to be some groups on LinkedIn with special interests that would be curious about your book. Build out your network with people who are interested in your book or might be thought leaders in that field. Use polls. I'm on a team of advisors for two people who are writing books right now, and they use polls all the time to ask their audience what they'd like to see or what they'd like to be included or how they'd like things presented. Cover art. There are so many different ways to use your audience during the process of writing your book. And it's sometimes you're really surprised what people will share, and it makes you really think and perhaps go in a different direction. Are you doing any promotion in real life at a bookstore or someplace else, or even a web series promoting the book? And definitely when you launch the book, you want to be sharing that on LinkedIn. So why should you use LinkedIn as an author's platform? Every single social media platform out there except LinkedIn is B2C. And if you're a B2C book, that's great. But if it's a professional book or you're trying to become a speaker because of that book also, you want to be on a B2B platform. And LinkedIn is the only professional B2B platform. Because it is the number one trusted digital platform. There is a different sense of credibility and trustability about LinkedIn. Authors are a little bit of a novelty. And I'm going to tell you, there is nothing that attracts attention on LinkedIn like novelty. We are so tired of generic information and same old, and everybody is saying the same thing. Authors are they're a breath of fresh air. They're a little bit different. There's something that stops and they make us stop and say, oh, this is different. This is interesting. This might be inspiring. So definitely share things about your book and what you've learned along the way. LinkedIn is definitely a place where you can establish some credibility and definitely build a brand new audience. LinkedIn is a relationship building tool. It is not really great for a lot of things, but for building relationships and nurturing relationships, it's the number one tool out there. So really shift your mindset about how you're using LinkedIn and really focus on building a relationship with your audience. It's also a great place to attract PR opportunities, to be invited to be an author on Forbes, to invite the media to get some attraction with your book and new audiences and possibly a publisher. So LinkedIn is definitely useful for authors in many different ways. Thank you so much for your time and attention. And I'm going to open it up for questions. Definitely connect with me on LinkedIn. And here is my clickable link at the top of my profile. Let's have a conversation about your book. I would love to meet you and give you some pointers. And then definitely do sign up for my newsletter. And I'm going to put this link into the chat for you. My newsletter is filled with all kinds of little tidbits about LinkedIn and how to use LinkedIn and social media for promotion. So I would love to hear what questions you have and what you'd like to know about using LinkedIn as an author. Dana, you're on mute.
I know the questions are coming, but I could not bypass this next potential title for Dr. Pauline Crawford's book. And it says, I love this, Angela. I presented one time, Does Sex Matter in the Boardroom? And so many men turned up. So she was talking about gender balance, but maybe this will be the name of her next book.
Yeah, I'm thinking about that because it was so funny that so many men turned up because they thought it was going to be about something else. But I love what you were saying, Angela, because I think it's about the backstory and the personal story, but also that fun hook.
Are absolutely fascinated. I'm going to tell you, it is magic. Your backstory is absolute magic. Don't discount it. I mean, we're bored. A lot of us, by the time we get that book to the publisher, we're so sick of it, and we don't we don't want to say another word about it. But it's that agony that you went through. It's that endurance that you had. It's that purpose, that drive, that, I couldn't not finish this book. Whatever it is, that's the magic that people want to hear.
Yeah, yes. You resonated on so many avenues that I touch on in coaching that I was just like, yes, yes, yes. But when they hear it from somebody who's an authority on LinkedIn, it really comes across with a different impact. I see William Planks has a comment or a question.
We want things that are human, that we can get our head around. And your backstory makes you a human being, not just a hoity-toity author. William, you have a question for us. Oh no, it looks like he froze. There you are.
Hi, can you hear me? Hello?
Hello,
Yes,
William.
yes, thank you. Thank you so much. I want to say thank you for this because I feel like you're talking about me right now. I'm so glad to be on here. My question is I wrote a book, No Human is Useless, and it's based on my life. I went through a whole lot of depression, living in the forest and all of that. So I put it up in a book, No Human is Useless. And the book is now 8 times international best-selling in 3 countries. Now, I know I speak so well. On LinkedIn audio events, I speak. Everybody loves to hear what I speak, like my message, my story. They love it. But now I want to position myself in a way that I could get speaking gigs, paid speaking gigs from people. And it looks like a big challenge to me. On my LinkedIn profile, everything you are saying is on there. Like I'm author, speaker, and all of that. But I feel I'm not meeting the right people. They all come to hear the story for free. They get emotional, they get happy, they thank me, and that is it. So I just want to level up a bit henceforth. And that's my question. How do I get to meet the right people to tell them my story?
Well, you really have to think about that when you're building out your network. And what I would do right away, William, is add keynote speaker to your profile. Add that as one of your positions so that people know that you're a legitimate speaker. Now, one of the things that I found out when I first became a public speaker was if I posted a picture of me at the front of the room or with the organizers for an event onto LinkedIn, I would get 3 or 4 inquiries to speak at other groups because it is the social proof. It is evidence. If you're good enough for that group, you're good enough for ours. Some people spend weeks, months, years trying to get to speak at certain places. But if you post a picture of you at the front of the room or with the organizers, you know, those obligatory photos that you do, that is the social proof, and you don't have to knock any doors. They're going to come knocking on your door. And then when you're building out your network, think about who are event organizers and promoters for the area where your book is designed. Who are the people that are interested? Who are the people that need to know? Is it middle managers? Is it CEOs? Is it other thought leaders in some specific industry? Is it nonprofits? Is it nonprofit leaders? Who are the people that need to hear your story? And reach out to them and connect to them on LinkedIn. Pull them in closer and keep posting things about the book and about your speaking. You'll get there.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, Angela. Thank you. Thank William. We're going to take another question or comment, please.
Who else has a burning question?
Need I remind you who we have in this room, guys? You've got the best of LinkedIn. So one question that I know was raised by Jackie, which really is new to me too, is really to create a business page for every book. So that is going to be the next step that I take.
And that is an opportunity for you. Here's what a business page can do for you. And you're going to use it like an author page. And there are several selections on LinkedIn. Use the company page, or I believe they call it a business page. Use that one. That one is the best one. The feature page doesn't get anywhere near the visibility. So definitely go for the business page and do one for each book that you have. Now, this is an opportunity for you to drop some more keywords in there. Now, every single company page that you add to your profile is a 10x in optimization. It is a 10x in SEO. And that is why Lily's books are selling like hotcakes, because we added 17 books, including all of her workbooks, as their own separate page on LinkedIn. And during the pandemic, I'm going to tell you that really helped her a great deal, because when she met with her clients, they could talk about things that were in her books. It was a really great foundation for her coaching.
Absolutely. So
And
we'll have,
use the visuals. Now, with a company page, nobody has time to update things, every day, but at least, 2 or 3 times a month, you want to post something. So, I'm doing a reading here, or, I just hit this milestone, or here's a snippet from chapter 2.
absolutely. Hey, Doug, I know you're going to have a few words in a few minutes to our audience as our CEO, but I didn't know if you wanted to raise a question as well, you or Cesar or Gemma.
Angela, always enlightening. Could you talk a little bit about the pages that you just talked about? Like when you say business page, are these off the profile?
Yes, they are. Actually, let me go back to my computer and I will pull up a profile and I'll show you exactly what I mean by that. Because I think the visuals are going to tell the story a lot better.
I landed on somebody's services page today, and quite honestly, I was frustrated because I landed on there and then I couldn't find a way back to her profile. Was that what that is?
This is a services page right here. A business page is quite different. So you go down to the work experience, and if somebody has actually connected it to their profile, this will take you there. But from the top of the profile, whatever your primary business is, the reason that you are using LinkedIn, whether it's author or coach or whatever it is, that should be what you're presenting at the very top of your profile. Now, if I click on this, it will take me down to the actual work experience. If I click on this, it will take me to my business page. Now, this is the admin view. I'm going to hit view as a member, and this will be the view that you see for my business page. So, you want to get the visuals in there. This is a very narrow size banner. It's really annoying how little room you have to express yourself as whoever you are. But then you can add some updates in here and put some posting in. Usually if I am invited to speak at a podcast, that is definitely something that I'm going to put in here. So another thing that you can do as an author is be a guest on somebody else's podcast. And I'm going to tell you, there is nothing stickier than a podcast on LinkedIn. Definitely something that you want to do, but developing a company page like this takes about 20-30 minutes. It's very, very easy. And the visuals are very, very simple. I used the book cover for Lily so that everybody had book recognition and knew exactly which page they were on. So very
Okay.
simple thing to do. You can do, some people have more than one business, and I recommend that you have a company page for each of those businesses. Good money is on diversity these days. Multiple lines of income.
Yes, yes. We've got
Okay.
Dr. Nicole Turner here who has a question. Thank you, Doug.
Thank
She
you.
says, would you have to have someone to help manage those business pages?
No, I don't do much to manage mine at all. It's really just if I've been a guest on somebody's podcast or I've done a big speaking event someplace and I have a decent photo, it doesn't have to be a great photo because most of the lighting is just terrible at those events.
Yeah.
Getting a good photo is hard at some of those events, but I will post updates every once in a while on those company pages. It's hard to keep up with everything. But sharing something from the company page to your personal page is definitely a way to let people know that you have a company page. What's interesting is company pages come up in searches a lot. So you want to make sure that you have your website link on that company page or the place where somebody can buy your book. A lot of people these days have a page on their website where you can buy the book. So it's more direct sales. Or if you're doing, on demand, then it's whoever that on demand publisher is.
Okay. Awesome. You deliver this so succinctly from your heart that I know you can do this in your sleep. And so with that said, there's some of us who cannot navigate LinkedIn in our sleep. So if you have any further questions, this is the time, raise them and let Angela be able to guide you on the next step of making your presence as an author visible and viable and relational.
And I think one of the things that I want to say is that I think one of the biggest confusion points for people on LinkedIn is they think they have to be just one person. And most of us are not. We have lots of different lives in different spaces. We're different things to different people. Maybe there's a nonprofit that we're on the board from, and we're a completely different person than we are when we're an author of fantasy books or murder mysteries or whatever they might be. And then we have a business. So we're lots of different people, and that makes you interesting. So be very loud and proud about all the different things that you are, because that makes you so much more intriguing.
Yes. Angela, I think you'd be surprised how many authors and those that are writing their books we have in this audience. So if you would, and each of you would raise your hand if you've written a book or you've started writing a book. I just want that to come across the screen and maybe we can get a good snap of that.
I would love it if you would drop the title into the chat so that I get to see the diversity of all the different things that people are writing. That's fascinating.
Yeah.
I have 5 books that are partially, one it's actually written, it just needs to be published, but I have huge notebooks for 4 more. I'm going to have to retire just to write my books.
Hi, Angela.
Hello, Susanna.
Greetings from Barcelona, Spain.
And how is the weather there today?
Well, fantastic, as usual, sunny, beautiful. So, Angela, well, first of all, thank you for the, of course, amazing and insightful session. I'm currently in the process of finishing my first book, and I'd love to know your tips on how to create awareness and build interest on LinkedIn before officially publishing. What are some of the maybe strategies or steps you would recommend for pre-launch engagement?
What is the backstory? What is the purpose for the book? Why did you think that you could be an author? Answer those questions and people will be interested in it. What is the purpose for the book? What is your vision? What would you like that book to accomplish? And then, quotes from the book. I share when I do social media management on LinkedIn for some of my clients, I take snippets out of their books and I create beautiful visual graphics for those and then explain them in the post itself. But people are fascinated by the inner world of authors. So really focus on that, but then also on that bigger vision for the book. What do you expect someone to feel, or how do you expect them to change because they read your book? And then always, the cover art or, polls are hard to come up with, but they are super effective. People cannot resist a good poll. So if you can come up with a poll for your book, that definitely creates some intrigue. And thanks everybody that's sharing titles in the chat. That's awesome.
Thank you, Angela. I was taking notes.
Awesome. Well, and look at the replay. You'll get a few more things. Michael, you have a question.
Do I? Oh no, I just had my hand up because you said to put your hand up if you'd written books. So sorry. But
That's
while
okay.
I have a chance, this is absolutely amazing. It's so authentic, it's so practical, it comes from the right place. I've been making notes, editing, I'm not just on my phone, I've been updating, while it's live. So thank you very much. It's absolutely fantastic.
Well, here's a way to reframe this for you guys. When you look at somebody's LinkedIn profile, what is it that you want to see? What is it that you want to learn very quickly? Most people's, like I said before, clarity is the hottest thing out there in social media. You look at somebody's profile and you're like, oh my God, I have no idea what they do. It's really frustrating. People make us work so hard to figure out, who are they? What do they do? Don't make us work so hard. Be very simple and very plain about what you do. I'm an author, I'm a coach, I'm a mom, I'm whatever it is. I'm an ex-politician, whatever it is that I've seen people say crazy things on LinkedIn and you're like, ooh, I want to know more about that.
Yes. I'm the owner of 10 cats. They'll want to know more about you one way or the other. That's not my story. I'm just putting that out there as an idea. So Michael's book is Loving Leadership.
When people find out that I taught in Siberia, they're like, why?
And what time
Summers
of
of
the
my
year?
life. It was so interesting. And
I love it. Nicole's
Shilpi, did I say your name correctly?
Yes, and thank you so much for this enlightening session. I really loved it. The part that each business area of your expertise should have a different page. That was really enlightening for me because I do a lot of stuff. And one thing I actually wanted to ask is, um, I actually design like banners and all these stuff, and I keep changing things because I really like change. So, what are the most important things to have in the banner that people, it's like a must have on your banner? What do you think?
You really need to have some brand recognition. So you have a beautiful logo. That is a must. That is an absolute must. That has to be included and needs to be big enough so that people can read that little writing underneath. The banner space is really difficult to work with. I just created a banner for a regional director for another networking organization yesterday, and we had to go back and forth several different times to get things the right size and in the right position, because you have to be aware of where your photo is also. But you want to make it really simple. You know, my banner says that I do business development on LinkedIn. Super simple. It's if you're not looking to build your business and using LinkedIn, then you're probably not going to want to talk to me. But if that's what you're looking for, it's really easy. You might want to read further. So you want the banner to be something that creates an emotional connection. So LinkedIn has done lots of studies about how people respond to looking at that above the fold view. And what they've found out is if there are people in the banner, and especially people that are the age and ethnicity of your ideal audience, if they can see themselves in your banner, it definitely helps create that emotional connection. Now, a lot of authors and speakers put photos of themselves. Your photo's already there. And, you know, if you're one of those people that's really kind of afraid of the whole self-promotion thing, don't be too loud and obnoxious about it. Definitely get some pictures of people. Now, I had one of my speakers, she had a picture from behind her on stage. So it was the back of her head, but it was the audience. So it was the audience that we put into her banner, not her. She was there, but it was just a hint that she was there. People want to see you in action, but they also want to see themselves. So those are some best practices. Keep the colors really simple. You know, like that one banner that I showed, I don't know what it means. Anytime we get confused and we're trying to make sense of things, you've lost us. It needs to be super simple.
I am inspired and I'm going to change my banner today.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Canva has templates for that and some really excellent resources for making a nice banner. Don't use their designs, use the features from their designs, but their designs are obnoxious.
Thank you.
Sorry, I missed. Who was that you suggested?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
I missed what you said. Who makes good banners?
The banner designs, the templates that they have on Canva are pretty much obnoxious. They're like for realtors and YouTube stars and but you can steal some of the features and use them, the simple little things that they have on there.
Yes.
You know, like the little arrows or some of the other graphic elements to add to the professionalism of your banner.
Yes, I use Canva. I couldn't catch the word,
Oh,
but
it's
really good.
my favorite rabbit hole. Any other questions? Everybody's going to go right out there and improve your LinkedIn profile immediately and add author as work experience.
Yep.
I celebrate that.
We've got time for one quick question, 30 seconds, if you would. And then, Angela, if you put your link again in the chat, because I didn't copy it and repost, please. LinkedIn, your website, and so forth.
Hi there. I just have a quick question. This is Siley. I heard of these multi-author book series that goes up. So what is your say on that? Is it really worth going for that, or is it good to be a single author book publisher?
Say that one more time. Is it good to be?
I heard of these multi-author series.
A multi-author series, so more than one series. Mm-hmm.
So how does, I mean, what your comment would be on those multi-authors series books versus a single author?
Um, I'm not sure I understand the question. Dana, can you?
I can do my best. I want to be sure that I'm understanding you. So something like an anthology that has several authors, is that what you're asking about?
Oh, yes, yes, yes. And there are tons of those out there. Collaborative projects are very popular these days. And definitely, if you are an author of a chapter, that is something that you want to be promoting on LinkedIn. You know, who cares that you didn't write the whole thing? You were invited. You were invited to be an expert in that book. It is
Mhm.
definitely something that is credible. So, some people have downloads of their specific chapter in those situations. So, I would set up a whole landing page and make sure that people can get access to that because it's your expertise. It's not all the other people that you want to promote. So, you want to, share quotes from your particular chapter. Definitely say, here's a collaborative project. These days, I'm going to tell you, self promotion is not as interesting as collaborative promotion.
Mhm.
We all want to know that you are a part of a community um, and that you're promoting other people as well. So there's lots of opportunities with a book like that to share things into the newsfeed.
You're going to get an opportunity, guys, to see what she's talking about, collaborative promotion, because after this webinar, Globinar, we post on LinkedIn what we have posted for Global Chamber. We highlight and recognize our incredible speakers. We also tag each of you on it because this is a collaborative effort. This would not have been possible, if Angela had not agreed to come and support this. And I want to say she spoke to one of the needs that I had this year, and the 3 declarations that I would ask more, that I will scale, and then I would also express gratitude. So I want to take this time, Angela, each of us, to express our gratitude towards you today for bringing the best, as you always do, for enlightening us, for reminding us that we too are a badass, but we just have to show up and believe in that. And we would like to support the services that you offer for business development. Thank you for posting your information in the little chat. Also follow her on LinkedIn. Yeah, next month for our Global Chamber Author Series, it will be on February the 19th. It's the 3rd Wednesday of every month. And the way that we started out last year, we're continuing this year. We'll have a workshop like today, and then we'll have 2 featured authors. So if you are a Global Chamber member and author and would like to be featured, reach out to myself, reach out to Gemma, reach out to Doug Brunke, our CEO, or Cesar Trabanco, our Vice President, and some of our other core members for Global Chamber, Gloria Peterson. All of those names will be in LinkedIn, so don't worry, you can just follow us. Let's give Angela a round of applause, please. This has been amazing.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And as Michael, we've got 2 Michaels on today, Michael Quigley and Michael Walker. We've got folks on from Zambia, UK, Yemen, Atlanta, and so many other places, because we are global. And if you have not joined Global Chamber, this is just a sampling of what we do in terms of Globinars, over 700 last year. This year, I'm certain we're going to meet or exceed that number, adding value and bringing incredible people like Angela and each of you. So we want to thank you. And Doug, I just want to give you the opportunity just to close or say any final remarks. He is our incredible CEO and founder, and this year Global Chamber is celebrating 10 years. We are global and unstoppable. Let me see if he's still able. He's there, but he might be tied up. Okay, so give her a round of applause, give her a high five, and follow us and join us. There you are.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we can.
Oh, great. I'm going to risk a ticket in California and put my phone up here and just say, Angela, you're amazing. That was outstanding information. And I really thank you for the presentation and your expertise. How do we work with you, and who would you like to meet going forward?
I am always looking to meet interesting people, no matter what it is that they do. One-on-ones are the way we build our businesses, right? But specifically, I'm always looking for attorneys and financial services people and other high-level professionals that are looking to build their practice on LinkedIn or other speaking engagements. I love to speak to groups like this.
Okay.
We're helping with the launch of Altos Bank, which they want to be the better Silicon Valley bank. And so happy to talk with you about that, getting connected with those bankers and all the businesses that are coming through there. They want to be bigger than Silicon Valley Bank. They're based in Los Altos, and it's going to be a fun year for them. And they all need to use LinkedIn,
Yes.
and they need to use it better. So thank you for sharing, and certainly encourage all of our members to contact Angela for your own information and for people who can benefit from a better LinkedIn profile. Use LinkedIn. We do have a company page, Global Chamber does. We have about 10,000 followers, so it's so big. And then we have a group where we post some information. I think there's 3,000 or 4,000 people there. And so feel free, if you're not already connected there, to jump in. You can actually post on the group and learn more about Global Chamber members. And for your own company, I think my own experience is that most people don't have a company page done very well. Some even don't have one, which is kind of shocking. And so for your book or for your business, definitely get involved. Let's have a great year. Thanks, Angela. Thanks, Dana, for your ongoing leadership of this event and elsewhere.
Thank you. Thank you, Doug. And Angela, I will connect you with a financial wealth manager who was on the line today. And I will also connect you with another one who's in my writer's masterclass. So that I can do. And then we have international immigration attorneys. If that's an interest for you too, we have some in our membership. I'll make that connection, a soft introduction online.
And I will send you a PDF of the slides if that's useful.
Yes, please. Yes, please. Thank you. Make today phenomenal, guys. I mean, I don't know how it can get any better, but let's try it out by upgrading our LinkedIn page and banners. All right. Take it easy. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.